Boxing a deadly Cobra is asking for trouble. So's taking on a Class 5 Rapid that can swallow even the best kayaker. And this guy's walking a slack line to nowhere. It's your world, and it's all here. Daring, breathtaking, unpredictable. This is Tokyo. Nearly 13 million people live here. But one man stands out in the crowd. Okotampe. He's one of the best contact jugglers in the world. In contact juggling, there's just one rule. Instead of tossing a bunch of stuff into the air, you always keep your hands on the ball. And that means some startling optical illusions. Balls that seem as if they're floating in space or barely touching the body. The balls look like they're fragile soap bubbles, but actually they're hard acrylic orbs.
まず不思議なところ、それから、マジック的でパントマイム的で、それでジャグリングの要素が入っているところが。
Okotampe practices for several hours a day. Although they look like magicians, contact jugglers consider themselves to be physical artists. Okotampe pushes human dexterity to its limits and makes it look easy. Rats are everywhere, in our sewers, our garbage cans, and even inside our homes. In some cities, they may even outnumber the people. Why are these rodents so successful? To start, their elongated hind legs give them enough power to leap a distance 5 times their body length. If they were bigger, they'd give Superman a run for his money. Then there's the tail. It's nearly as long as the rat itself and loaded with flexible muscles. It functions as a kind of counterweight while walking along lines and edges. Sort of like a high wire artist uses a pole. Any hole a rat can fit his head through means the rest of him can follow. The rodent's rib cage can collapse under pressure. But rats aren't just adept at hanging in midair and squeezing through holes. As any urban pioneer knows, they can also navigate through sewers and waterways. In fact, they're such great swimmers, they can even rat paddle from the sewers straight into your bathroom. And flushing won't get rid of them. They have super swimming skills. While they paddle with their back legs, the tail acts as a rudder. And they have some serious stamina. Rats can tread water for 3 days straight. That's right, a rat could survive in your toilet bowl for days. With all these skills, rats are definitely one of nature's ultimate survivors. From here, this looks kind of fun. From here, it looks like a death wish.
Come on, come on.
Why is this guy walking a line strung more than 300 meters above a rocky chasm? Robin Avery has come to Squamish in British Columbia to walk the highest slackline of his life. But to do it, he'll have to take a fall. Again. And again. And again. And there's no safety net.
You're hanging
below that line and you gotta say to yourself, I'm alive. I choose life.
Believe it or not, this insanity is actually a sport. Slacklining was started by rock climbers who strung up their stretchy safety webbing and started walking on it for fun. But most walk the lines close to the ground. Robin is a highliner, so he's taking it to the extremes. At these heights, the webbing would be too flexible.
Oh man, that's far.
The slightest breeze would knock Robin right off. So he's using a rope. There's only one way to get a rope across the 39-meter gap. A lucky throw. Then the highliners start anchoring a heavy steel cable in place. Robin and Matt are trying a rope called Amsteel Blue, one of the strongest ropes money can buy.
This rope is super strong, and it's a lot stronger than any rope we've used in the past. Because in the past, just standing on it, let alone walking it, is a terrifying concept. Okay, now pull on it. Okay, that's good.
Finally, it's time to walk the walk.
All right.
It's all about the breathing.
Even with the stronger rope, a light breeze can still send the line swaying as much as a meter in either direction. To regain his balance, Robin must center the cable under his feet, or down he goes. And while the harness will catch him, it's better if he can also use his arms to stop his fall.
When I do fall, I try and catch the line every single time. And there's not only a lot of shock on the system, on the line, but there's a lot of shock on your body as well. It's like nothing you can practice for.
It's day 2 on the slack line. Robin still has 91 meters of rope to cross.
When you think about the danger, it's going to freak you out, and you're not going to be in the zone anymore. And you just need to be in that grooving zone and focus on your breathing and make time stand still.
Come on. Come on.
Oh yeah! Woo! Okay, I'm gonna throw up now.
That was probably, not even joking, the most intense moment of my life.
From our file of facts that are weird, but true. Sure, clouds look light and fluffy, but a typical cumulus can weigh upward of 1 million tons. That's nearly as much as 100,000 African elephants. But all that weight is spread over a wide area, which is why clouds stay up and elephants come down. Imagine stepping on this on your morning walk. Welcome to Ban Hoek San Yan in Thailand, also known as King Cobra Village. In this town, toddlers play near snakes in the street. And the lethal reptile, the world's largest venomous snake, has become the traditional family pet. Why would anyone want to cuddle up to a cobra? Poisonous snakes weren't always the pet of choice. Years ago, the villagers used to poach the cobras for use in herbal medicines. Now the snakes are protected. But protection only goes so far. Instead of killing the snakes, the people decided to fight them. This is cobra boxing. Whether in training or in the ring, it's always snake versus human, but it's hardly a level playing field. These snakes can deliver a knockout punch. King cobras can grow to 5.5 meters. They hunt small prey, but they can strike humans if they feel threatened. And these snakes are looking pretty stressed. Like all sports, cobra boxers have more than a few injuries. The cobra's venom contains a neurotoxin that can be fatal. The survivors have plenty of scars. This boy was bitten near the eye while playing with a cobra. It's one of the risks of the family trade. Still, in these fights, it's hard not to root for the snake. Looking for a way to get rid of your old obsolete TV set? This gives new meaning to the phrase, kill your television. We used a special digital cinema camera to shoot images of these smashing sets.
Okay. Adam, how you doing up there?
At a rate of more than 1,000 frames a second.
You guys ready? Yeah, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Played back, the television shattered in high resolution with incredible detail. Something you'll only be able to appreciate in HD on your new TV. Top 5 countdown. Top predator tactics. At number 5, the lioness. Her skill? Speed. She can leap onto the back of a zebra and bring it down. Let's see that again. But not every fierce predator is fast. Try number 4, the anaconda. Its skill is stealth. These massive snakes hunt and kill in silence. The bite, squeeze, and swallow. Then there's number 3, the orca. This is pure daring. The 10-ton whale actually beaches itself to gobble up unwitting seals. Guess it's really earned its nickname, the killer whale. Once you grab the prey, you have to find a way to dig in. So check out number 2, the Nile crocodile. Their signature move, the death roll, which can rip meat right off the still struggling prey. But one carnivore has it all, the great white shark. This huge fish combines speed, stealth, and some pretty ferocious eating skills. But those razor-sharp teeth put the shark in the number 1 slot. It's an endangered animal that's engineered to hunt. And that's worth watching all over again. A Goliath grouper opens wide and sucks in prey like a vacuum cleaner. Look how that mouth opens up. These mega eaters can grow to the size of a refrigerator, weigh 360 kilos, and hoover up just about everything on the reef. So how do they do it? Researcher Steve Husky has scored a National Geographic grant to study the mechanics of these eating machines. To see what's going on, Steve slows the action down.
Oh yeah.
Goliath groupers are one of the most efficient feeders in the ocean, and one of the fastest.
Did you get it?
They can speed toward prey like a bullet, stop on a dime, and then drop their lower jaw, creating a vacuum to suck a hapless victim straight into that enormous mouth.
He's gonna draw air in off the surface, and there it all goes.
To get an even better look, he strips animals to the bone in his lab with the help of some flesh-eating beetles. The result? A fully articulated grouper skeleton. Maybe this fish should also be nicknamed Jaws. The grouper's double rows of sharp teeth are designed to seize its prey and keep it from escaping. That is, if they don't just swallow it whole. It'll need the calories. This one is just a baby, but it won't be long before he reaches supersize.
The best analogy to help somebody really comprehend what that change in body size is like, take your typical human child at birth. To change in body size the same as a Goliath grouper, the human would have to be the length of 2 Titanics as an adult.
That's quite a growth spurt. Sorry, Mr. Goldfish. You don't stand a chance.
Let him get close. Let go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
When you commit to running Class 5 river rapids, there's no backing out. So this group of expert paddlers is here to commit. Their goal? To paddle some of the toughest whitewater in North America, the Ashley River in Western Canada. This is the deepest and steepest part of the river. Known as the Box, this 5-kilometer section of enormous rapids is a race course of boiling whitewater, whirlpools, chutes, and boulders. The finish line? A 4-story waterfall. First, the paddlers need to scout the rapids and mentally rehearse the safe pathways they'll take for the descent. There's just one easy part: getting wet.
When we slide into the water, that's actually fun. I kind of enjoy that. It kind of breaks the ice a little. And we go get in that first eddy, and that's where everything disappears, and what needs to happen downriver is all you're thinking about.
You should think it over, because with these sheer canyon walls, once you're in, there's no way out. When it comes to kayaking, rapids are measured for danger on a scale of 1 to 5. The Box is definitely a 5.
Box Canyon's full of Class 5 rapids. The entire experience is a Class 5 experience. What this means for us is that there's a lot of rapids that are big and they have small margins of error. And there's a pretty big price to pay on some of these rapids when you miss your line.
Missing a line can mean a quick date with a boulder, or getting stuck in a whirlpool, and facing broken bones, wrecked kayaks, even death. This group of guys has been paddling together for over 4 years. Their teamwork helps them stay safe by keeping a line of sight on the paddler attempting the descent. Especially a descent like this one, a waterfall as tall as a 4-story building. Let's check that out again. The run finally ends on some calmer water. These rapids have been conquered, perhaps for the final time. In a few weeks, this section of the Ashley will be diverted to power a hydro plant, changing this wild river canyon forever. Strange markings have appeared on a California beach. Huge drawings that can only be appreciated from above. Nope, this isn't a message from the ancients or a new type of alien communication. It's an entirely man-made creation. Sand artist Jim Dinovan doesn't need much in the way of supplies.
It's perfect. Nice sharp edge.
And a deserted, hard, flat stretch of sand is the perfect canvas. Centering himself in the space, he searches for the best place to start drawing.
I very quickly found that it was just like a big sheet of paper that was available every day at low tide, and that when the waves came in, it was fresh the next day.
Up close, Jim's scratchings don't look like much. From above, it's an entirely different story. When he draws, Jim doesn't count steps or calculate distances. He spatially solves the problem in his head. Jim recently took his talents to the Nevada desert. On a giant dry lake bed, he set out to make a drawing that could be seen from an aircraft 12,000 meters above the ground. Jim had to figure out how a drawing of this scale would read from so far above. This is what he came up with. Back at the beach, Jim has finished his drawing. What started as an untouched sandy canvas has evolved into a work of art. The drawing took hours to create, but it will disappear in minutes. But for Jim, that's all part of the job.
I like starting the motions, continuing, and then finishing as the ocean's about to wash it over.
Beach drawings. They may be just as fleeting as the perfect wave. This little marvel of engineering ingenuity is called CritterCam, a camera that's fastened to animals. Now we're about to see what they do when we're not around. Nat Geo grantee Tracy Rogers and her team have come to Antarctica to find out how far leopard seals will go for a meal. They hope the camera will show them how the seals navigate through their underwater world. But first, they have to find a seal who isn't camera shy. They tranquilize the seal and attach the CritterCam with glue that will later dissolve. It's time for her television debut. The camera reveals that when it comes to food, these seals don't go far at all. These predators are real homebodies. They don't stray far from their own territory, even to seize a plump penguin or two. Which means these birds will live to see another icy day. Top 3 countdown, motorcycle wipeouts. When carelessness and stunts take the place of safe riding, the results can be scary. You might want to play it safe after you see our top 3 wipeouts. Number 3, biker meets road. This rider is hurting, but his bike keeps right on going. Number 2, the nasty twist. And it's even worse on instant replay. And finally, number 1, a seriously screwed up stunt. The motorcycle is supposed to be launched into the air, but something doesn't go as planned. A scary movie stunt suddenly becomes reality. From multiple angles. Fortunately, the driver is a real dummy. Literally. How real is virtual reality? This soldier is in virtual combat. It may look like he's playing, but this isn't a game. This is virtual therapy. Computer simulations that are used to treat veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. For a combat vet with PTSD, this can feel like this. As seen on Lab TV, psychologist Skip Rizzo can recreate every detail of a traumatic event.
Who's in the vehicle with you?
Yes, I had a passenger with me and a gunner in the turret.
Okay, why don't you take a look over there and we'll add them into it. Here we go, we'll add a passenger. And we'll look up to the turret, we'll add someone in there.
This is called exposure therapy, where the patient repeats the bad experience until he's finally able to face his fears. And he can do it all without going back to the battlefield. Rizzo can make this recreation startlingly realistic.
As we approached, I started to hear gunfire. Been hit by an IED, so that made me...
They feel like, all right, I had a bad thing happen, and I've moved on, and now I don't have to be afraid anymore.
It's gaming for a good cause. From our file of facts that are weird, but true. Colonies of army ants can number over 1 million strong. Yeah, that's a lot of ants. But what's going on here? These ants have seriously powerful jaws. They're so strong, they can actually be used as surgical staples to stitch wounds together. Got a jungle emergency? Just line up the ants, decapitate them, and you're good to go. For someone who loves the outdoors, city life can be a drag. Unless you live here, or work here. Clearly, this is no ordinary garden. It's the tallest green space in the city of Chicago.
We've seen hummingbirds up here. I would never imagine a hummingbird being 13 stories up in the middle of downtown Chicago. They find their way.
In 2001, Chicago City Hall became one of the first buildings in the U.S. to construct a green roof. The vegetation provides insulation, reduces storm runoff, and creates an urban sanctuary for plants and birds. A closer look at another living roof in San Francisco shows how it's done. Drought-resistant native vegetation is planted atop waterproof membranes, keeping the building warm in winter and cool in summer. It's a new kind of urban oasis. This might be one of the most dangerous photo assignments ever. Nat Geo photographer Mark Thiessen has come to Niana Ridge near Fairbanks, Alaska to take pictures of a forest fire. But he's not just shooting from the sidelines. He's going to set up his cameras and let the fire run right over them. He hopes to have the first images taken from within a raging forest fire. But first he has to find a way to make his cameras fireproof. The answer? This firebox. An insulated camera housing which can withstand high temperatures, complete with Pyrex portholes. But Mark won't know if his box design works until after the fire moves through and he gets a look at the photos. That is, if the cameras don't melt. But first he needs a fire. So he decides to work with some firefighters who have started a controlled burn here to research how a wildfire behaves.
You can make a fire, but to really make a good rich fire, you need a lot of help from Mother Nature.
So the crew gives nature a little jump start. The super-fueled flames are finally raging, creating their own wind, which can be 10 times faster than the existing breeze. Even Mark is surprised by the heat.
Wow, look at that burn. Whoa, it's hot. Oh, can you feel that heat?
The crews have to make sure they don't lose control of the burn. Using beaters, they smother any spot fires.
In fact, there's one right here. You can see the smoke right here.
As the flame rages over especially protected cameras, Mark finally gets the shots he's been waiting for. incredible images taken within a forest fire. If you live in a country that's dark green, then be prepared to live for a while. This National Geographic map shows the average life expectancy around the world. In the lead, Japan, where people live on average to a healthy 83 years or more. And on one small Japanese island, you can even live longer. Okinawa has one of the highest rates of people over 100 in the world. So what's their secret? It could be diet. Fish, vegetables, and rice keep the Japanese trim and healthy. Staying active and avoiding stress helps too. So now you have a good reason to start training for that black belt. Looks nice, right? This, not so nice. Here's a place you'd never want to be. Clinging to a rock trapped in the rapids right above Niagara Falls. If he lets go, he'll likely plunge to his death. The park rangers try to throw him a raft, but the rapids break the rope, and the raft is swept over the falls. So they call in the only people who can brave the raging rapids and survive. Coast Guard rescue jumpers. This is the kind of stuff they can do. Lower themselves from helicopters into raging seas. Pluck drowning mariners from the water while staying alive themselves. But first, they have to survive the Coast Guard's year-long rescue jumper training program. And it's Senior Chief Brad Torren's job to make sure that's very hard to do.
The school's mainly mental. Your mind is your best tool. And if they break mentally, then they break. If not, they graduate.
The students' training has one goal: to teach the wannabe rescuers how to keep their cool on a mission, no matter how dangerous it is. Three-quarters of these trainees will wash out before the class ends. To rescue the desperate man above Niagara Falls, Eric Mueller will need to call on those skills. To avoid the helicopter blowing the victim off the rock, Eric has to let the line out. But that makes it harder to get close. And time is running out. The man has been in the water for at least half an hour. Hypothermia is a real danger. The first attempt is a wash. Finally, Eric straddles the rock, grabs the man's belt, and lifts the victim to safety. Thanks to the Coast Guard, he's a lucky guy. Around 10 people are killed at Niagara Falls every year. Want an adrenaline rush? Just climb to the top of this 21-meter high tower, strap a pair of vines to your ankles, and jump. That takes a lot more guts than bungee jumping. This is what the villagers of Pentecost Island in the Pacific do to pray for a good yam harvest. It's probably no surprise that this ritual did actually inspire bungee jumping. But there's one big difference. These vines don't stretch or bounce. If they break, the jumper could crash head first into the ground. Ouch! So if people can really survive on guts alone, the villagers of Pentecost should be just fine. How can a camera get up close and personal with a carnivorous insect armed with a pair of poisonous claws? The answer? very carefully. This is the underside of an African yellow-legged centipede.
I'm gonna give this a whirl. Hopefully he's not gonna attack us.
Nat Geo cinematographers want to get the centipede's walk on camera. It won't be an easy shot to get. One person directs the centipede across a sheet of glass, while a special camera shoots from underneath.
Good man.
Centipedes can have up to 191 pairs of legs.
How'd you like one of those crawling on your skin?
One pair for each segment. This guy also has a pair of venomous claws behind his head. That can be a painful bite. And that has the crew a little worried. In slow motion, the camera captures the insect leg pairs moving in unison. Here it looks graceful. But at normal speed, watch out.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Wow, he's really gone. Lid.
For shots like this, it's worth taking a few risks. There are 500,000 detectable earthquakes in the world each year. Only 100 of these cause any damage, but that damage can kill. Tremors can topple towers and buckle bridges, burying people in the rubble. So someone needs to design a completely earthquake-proof building, and fast. This is the machine that could help. The engineers at the Pacific Earthquake Engineering Research Center in Berkeley, California, have created a special shaking table to study how to make buildings safer during quakes. The huge table weighs over 50 tons and can even recreate specific earthquakes, like the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake in San Francisco. The shaker uses a complicated system of 6 different movements, all calibrated by computer, so they can put almost any kind of building to the test.
What we're doing right now is a test of a scaled model of what looks like what is a prototype of a nuclear power plant.
This is the technology that could help avoid an earthquake-related meltdown. Look out, here comes the science.
This is a friction pendulum bearing. This is a puck, and the friction surface is glued to the bottom, such that it slides in this large plate-like surface.
The building's entire weight rests on these pucks, allowing the whole structure to move separately from the ground and survive the quake. It's called base isolation. The engineers hope it will become standard soon, and they should. They live atop a fault line themselves. From our file of facts that are weird, but true. When compared with humans, this little guy is a serious bodybuilder. Why? Because caterpillars have about 3,200 more muscles than you do. But you have something they don't. Bones. This photo of a monster hog makes news around the world and the World Wide Web. The size of a grizzly bear with massive tusks, it's dubbed Hogzilla. The feral beast in a Georgia swamp.
Oh my God, I've never seen nothing that big in my life. I was adrenaline rushing. All sorts of thoughts were running through my head, and I was thinking, I'm gonna take a shot at this animal.
Hogzilla was 3.6 meters long and weighed 453 kilograms. That's a lot of pork. But photos can lie. Is Hogzilla just an illusion? If you answered false, then you're right. Hogzilla was a pretty big pig, but he wasn't a giant. To discover the truth, scientists need some of the hog's DNA. And there was only one way to get it. But when they examined the skeleton, they found that Hogzilla didn't measure up to his name. Tests showed Hogzilla was really a 2.3 meter long cross between a wild boar and a domesticated hog. and tipped the scales at around 363 kilograms. Big, but not a monster. And for the photo, well, Hogzilla isn't quite as big as he looks. It's all a matter of perception. 1.8 meter tall Chris is standing in a hole. Top 5 countdown. Best Hubble telescope discoveries. Number 5. At 3,800 light-years away from Earth, the Hubble found this beautiful butterfly nebula. At its center, a dying star that was once 5 times the size of our Sun. Number 4. A star nursery 7,500 light-years away. New stars burst to light from this region of dust and gas. Number 3. The Hubble spotted this globular star cluster, a large group of stars held together by their mutual gravity. It's 17,000 light-years away. Just one of these clusters can have anywhere from 10,000 to 1,000,000 stars. Number 2. A spectacular system of 3 galaxies 400 million light-years away from Earth. 2 of these galaxies are forming new stars at a high rate. And the number 1 photo shows just how powerful the NASA telescope can be. It's a galaxy smash. What looks like one strange formation is actually a pair of spiral galaxies colliding. The pull of gravity accounts for what appear to be outstretched arms. The Hubble shot this from 600 million light-years away. Think it's hard to take on these trails on 2 wheels? Try doing it with 1. This is mountain unicycling, or Muni for short. Rolf Thompson and his sons Muni as a family, riding specialized unicycles with thick, knobby tires. Every summer, they take to Utah's snowless ski slopes to one-wheel it downhill. These rugged one-wheelers can hop right over rocks and turn on a dime. It may look crazy and unstable, but on downhills, it may actually be safer than biking. Since you can't coast on a unicycle, you can't build up too much speed. And all that pedaling adds up to a good workout. The sport has been around since the 1990s, though most people would still go with 2 wheels instead of 1.
Though I have to say, there aren't that many people that are really seriously doing it.
These extreme riders can do a lot more than just pedal down a path. So if the slopes aren't challenging enough, they look for something man-made instead, like jumping off the ski towers. That's a lot of wow for just 1 wheel. They swarm through the streets of cities like Manila, Bangkok, and Delhi. Noisy flocks of small rickshaws with engines known as tuk-tuks.
I mean, they're used for any number of applications where someone can make money with it. And it's hauling goods, hauling pigs, hauling wood, hauling rice, hauling baskets, hauling people, hauling kids for school bus. It's also the family truckster.
They may look cute, but these tiny taxis are also massive polluters. Each one emits as much as 50 modern cars. Tim Bowers plans to change that. His company has come up with a way to convert the tuk-tuk's 2-stroke engine to use cleaner, more efficient fuel injection. That way, the fuel doesn't mix with air, which creates noise, smoke, and fumes. It also saves on gas.
It's about a 90% reduction in emissions and about a 35 to 40% increase in fuel efficiency.
So someday, tuk-tuks won't be loud, polluted, and inefficient. They'll just be colorful. When people think mummies, they think Egyptian tombs or Inca burials. In fact, some of the best preserved mummies in the world are European. This is the Italian island of Sicily. Deep down in the island's catacombs are thousands of mummies. A tradition that started with a sect of medieval monks. But none of them equal this one. Little 2-year-old Rosalia Lombardo. She's called the Sicilian Sleeping Beauty. The little girl was mummified in the 1920s, but it looks like she died yesterday. Her face is so lifelike that some people think she's actually a doll.
1, 2, 3.
So a Nat Geo grantee decided to dispel that myth by giving her an X-ray. Since they can't open the box and expose Rosalia to the air, they'll have to X-ray through the coffin walls.
Okay.
But they hit a snag.
Oh.
Oh my God.
There's nothing to see.
The coffin is lined with lead, a big problem for an X-ray machine. So they boost the power and try again. This time, it works.
Much better.
Oh, much better. Look at
Oh
this.
my God. Oh my God, what's that?
Can't believe it.
Rosalia is definitely real. Her limbs and organs are still there, perfectly preserved.
Liver here.
She may look like an angel, but her mummification is no miracle. She was embalmed using a cocktail of chemicals similar to formaldehyde. That's how Rosalia became Sicily's Sleeping Beauty. You've just seen life on Earth in all its infinite variety. Just keep your eyes and mind wide open.
Wow.